Good morning, Malika here from Malika Semper Astrology, and this is a big week, and I'm sure you guys can feel it. So, I mean, the main thing that we're leading up to is this full moon eclipse in Scorpio, coming in May 5th, coming in on Friday. But the buildup is certainly there. We had our last eclipse at 29 degrees Aries a couple weeks ago, and now we are in 14 degrees of Scorpio with this particular eclipse. And this is the last eclipse happening in the Scorpio Taurus axis for quite a while. So first things first, I want you to find 14 degrees of Scorpio in your chart. Take note of what house it's in. That's the stage, the area of life that's going to be affected by this eclipse for you personally. Is it on top of any of your personal planets? Is it squaring or opposing any of your personal planets? And that will sort of also tell the intensity of this particular eclipse for you and what it's doing in your own personal life. Collectively, a full moon and Scorpio eclipse tends to be about the lessons of letting go, and they could be quite intense. We can be feeling quite passionate around these things. And the letting go part can be a little bit intimidating, a little bit scary, a little bit sad. But I want you to have a different perspective on this whole letting go idea. We are letting go of something that we are done with, that we are fulfilled with in order to now let it go. It's not something that we're still needing in our lives, that we're still craving in our lives. It's something that we have been fed by and our bellies are full, and we can now let it go and move on. Think of it like that instead of this fear of, oh my God, what's going to be taken from me? What do I need to mourn? I mean, there can be grief with this particular eclipse and the lessons around letting go, because it is Scorpio and it does have to do with depth. There's nothing surfacey with this eclipse coming in. The lessons of letting go for Scorpio is so that we can regenerate and we can transform and we can do the healing process within the letting go. And what's being healed with Scorpio is the very core of your being, the very soul of your being. So there's medicine here. The highest calling of Scorpio is to be the healer. In order to be the healer, we have to look at the darkness. We have to look at the shadow. We have to look at what we are clinging to, what we're obsessed with, what we have a one-track mind with. Is it addiction? Is it fear of abandonment? Is it a relationship? Is it your ties to A, B, and C, right? And so in order to reach the healing, it's the idea of loosening the grip, and then the transformation happens, and then the rebirth happens, and then the healing happens. But it can be intense because it is all in Scorpio, letting the tears flow. It's a full moon, so emotions are heightened anyway. And some of you might not be feeling this as strongly. It just depends if it's activating any of the planets in your own personal chart. While some of us are like really getting sort of tossed about by this full moon eclipse energy. And the eclipse energy lasts for a while after the eclipse actually happens. So just pay attention, be mindful of what's coming up for you this week, and find your courage and find your bravery in facing it and looking at it, because it's an invitation. This doesn't happen all the time. So it's an invitation to go with that cosmic flow. And the whole purpose of this is Scorpio is always trying to rebirth and regenerate you, to bring you more in alignment with where you're supposed to be. All right, my friends, good luck out there, and I'll pop back in next week.